You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, iHeartRadio app, and also Instagram. Do you know what is the most popular superhero by state? Well, we're getting ready to tell you. According to Google Trends, and this has to do with what people are searching for, what people are talking about in an internet sense, here are the most popular superheroes by state. Let me see. Stefan, do you have a guess as far as what it might be for California? If you just,
I can't even make a guess.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's Spider-Man.
Oh.
Yeah. Nevada, it's Spider-Man. Arizona, Spider-Man. Oregon is Deadpool. State of Washington, Mark, is Thor.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
State of Texas, Spider-Man. And you think, well, Spider-Man must be the most popular across the country, or at least the most searched for. It's not. Would you believe it if I said Catwoman?
Absolutely not.
You know what? I didn't believe it, but then I thought about it. When you think of costumes for Halloween, when you think of the sexy costumes and cosplay, Catwoman is usually very popular in that regard.
I think, it's two things. One, it's the go-to because it's like a sexy costume, and also it's pretty easy.
It is, relatively speaking. And this is not about whether you like the movie or you read the comic or you appreciate the property. It's only what people are searching for. A total of 8 states, Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Connecticut, Florida, Maryland, Massachusetts, and Wisconsin listed Catwoman as their top search query. Colorado, Idaho, Minnesota, Montana, Nebraska, South Dakota, State of Washington, and Wyoming all are partial to Thor. And I could read between the lines in that one.
Yeah, something's going on here.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. Pick a state, I'll tell you.
I'm thinking that in New York, they call Spider-Man Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
New York, they've chosen Captain America.
Okay.
Florida
is Catwoman.
Huh.
Yeah. Georgia, get this, Batwoman. I don't get that at all.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see that. I can't even hazard a guess as to why.
You said that's Georgia?
Yes.
Not Marjorie Taylor Green Lantern?
Nope. I see what you did there, and you're not going to get any credit for it because Stefan doesn't listen to the show.
He doesn't even care.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I don't get it.
It's okay.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, congressperson, Green Lantern, superhero.
You're way into diminishing returns here.
I know, if you have to
doesn't
explain
matter.
it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that. I know Green Lantern.
You don't know Marjorie Taylor Greene?
No.
Oh, at
Just
least you're
learned about
honest.
her tonight.
We better just keep moving.
Yeah, we're just going to keep on moving. But it's interesting because we say Georgia and Batwoman. Batwoman came in last overall, but yet claimed the state of Georgia, or Georgia claimed Batwoman. And DC characters are more popular or more searched than Marvel. That's not surprising. Not surprising. And DC comic characters are featured 82 times overall across the 50 states' top 3 lists. Marvel only 68 times in the top 3.
What do you make of that?
Well, DC has more of a history. Is more of a they're more like legacy characters. They've been around longer. They've had more exposure.
I don't know. It's like 60 years versus 80 years. It's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
But longer is longer. Now, Marvel can say it's had the better run thanks to movies of the past 20 years. But people know Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, hands down. I can't think of 3 characters, Marvel, which occupy the same level of space.
You could be right, even though I would rather die than admit it. I think there's something going on with the searches here. People are just looking up like cosplay stuff. I'm guessing.
Probably. But I'm saying if you were to name 3, I would say titular Marvel characters, what would you say?
Well, Spider-Man, obviously.
Right.
Captain America.
I don't know if that's.
I mean, it's not like top of mind, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm trying to
he's
think.
a big,
Their top 3.
You got the Hulk.
Hulk's pretty big. Well,
Yes, that is too.
Give yourself a rim shot. Food.
Yeah.
all right,
Hulk's
cool.
pretty big.
It's kind of punish.
Well, I mean, all the original Avengers. You got Ant-Man. Well, he
No.
wouldn't-
No,
Okay.
definitely not Ant-Man. I would say Iron Man.
Iron
No,
Man. yeah.
Iron Man is lowest on the list. I'm glad you said that.
How's that
Really?
even possible?
Yeah, I think when they did the Iron Man film as the first major release from Marvel Studios, everyone in the industry thought it was going to flop because it's like, why would you do a film about this guy Iron Man? No one even buys the comic books for Iron Man.
They said the
That's
same
true.
thing about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, well,
they
no
were not
one,
well known.
That was a
no
shocker.
one was reading Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
No.
So they may be well known to us. They may be well known to nerds, but as far as the general public, everybody knows Batman. Everybody knows Superman. Everybody knows Wonder Woman. Whether you've read a comic or seen a movie or not, you know those characters.
But, in the world, and let me look this up real fast, but in the world right now, the number one superhero is Spider-Man, followed by Batman. Just as far as recognition in the world, I believe Spider-Man is number one.
And I think that would probably be due to movies.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, and the video games.
And the video games, yes.
It was
Yeah.
huge. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the game that came with the PS5 when it got released.
And you would know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very true.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because as far as merchandising, I can't think of anything Batman which really has been impactful
Merchandising?
outside of the movies.
Well, I mean, at the time of the Batman series with Adam West, there was as much Batman toy stuff out in the world as Man from U.N.C.L.E. toys. It was everywhere. You couldn't escape it.
Yeah, but we're talking 1960s.
Yeah.
But in the 60 years since, I mean, I would love to bring Michael Uslan on to ask him about that.
I'd like to see his collection. He's probably got a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I would say the only thing I could think of in recent times was the Batman Forever glasses for McDonald's. Do you remember those?
Yes, I have those.
See?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
That's
you can
not-
name it. That's
yeah.
like the only thing you can name.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
there's no.
I mean, Legos, but they do Lego
Yeah,
for everyone.
That's not. Yeah.
Yeah, looking this up, it says, while it is debatable depending on who you like, Spider-Man consistently outperforms every other superhero in the world by way of merchandise and sales surrounding that, followed by Batman. However, Superman, Iron Man, Captain America have remained in the higher rankings of superhero lore around the world.
I'm surprised with Captain America.
The MCU really rehabbed some marginal characters.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
With their casting and just the overall quality of the films. Iron Man was definitely a second-tier character before the Downey movie.
Of course. I mean, it's not only a second tier character, I don't know if it was a third tier character. It was just really low.
It was down.
As far as people's recognition of the character.
Comic book fan collectors, especially if you collect Marvel, yeah, you know who Iron Man is, but Iron Man is not a title that you are running to the stores to get.
Yeah.
No.
I'm actually shocked that they didn't start with Captain America. That would have made more, in my head, that would have made more sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
But see, the thing is, you are looking at it from a more developed MCU. Iron Man, if that movie fails, nothing gets made after that. Nothing. And I think Iron Man beat the Hulk by what, 2 or 3 months?
Something like that.
Yep, they came out very close to each other. But there wouldn't have been any MCU and world or universe building if Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. did not overperform in the way that it did. There would have been no question or even conversation about whether they're going to spend millions on. What was the third one? Was it maybe the first Thor movie?
Yeah, it went Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America,
The
First
first
Avenger,
Avenger,
Thor, and then it went into Avengers.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was always predicated on the last movie's success. And they kept building and building and building, and then now we have the MCU as we know it. When we come back, dying time is here. Someone did something real stupid and earned their death. We'll tell you about it. Here's a hint. It has to do with your pets. Yes.
Also, pizza's here.
Oh, yeah. I can smell it because Tuala came in the studio eating.
I wanted to make sure you knew it was here, so you can wrap the segment up and get to some pizza.
Let's take a break.
We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram and the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
You're dead to me.
You're more dead to me than your dead mother.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
It's Later with Mo Kelly live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. I think most of us have had pets. Mark, you've had some pet cats.
Absolutely.
Now, what breed were they?
They were the black kind and the gray kind.
That's racist.
I treated the black one better than the gray one. Just so you know. Extra treats for the black one.
I know that Chihuahua had some cats, or his kids have some cats. I got 2 dogs. Stefan, what about you?
I've had 2 dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are pets.
Yep.
Those are actual pets. Some animals are not pets. They cannot be domesticated, especially if they grew up in the wild. A man in Iraq just days ago bought a pet lion to keep in his garden. Does anyone want to tell me how this story ended just days later? Yes, the lion killed the man and then ate him.
Did we learn nothing from either Siegfried or Roy? Nothing?
I don't think the tigers ate. I don't know if it was Siegfried or Roy.
I forget which one it was. They
just got bitten.
They grabbed him by the neck.
And dragged him across the stage.
Kind of rough, yeah.
A man bought a pet lion. Let's start there. Who in their right mind tries to buy a full-grown lion? I don't care where you are in the world. It is a full-grown lion. I would more believe a lion cub because it can't immediately kill you and eat you. But his name was Fakhar al-Din from Iraq. And last week, he bought this pet lion. And less than 2 days later, the lion mauled him and ate him. Now, the worst part of this story, the absolute worst is, and I don't know if this is a law in Iraq, but here's the quote. Quote, today in a garden in the city of Kufa, Najaf, a citizen was attacked by a lion in his own garden and died immediately. The lion had eaten a large portion of the man's body. And listen to this. Because the lion refused to leave the remains, in other words, walk away from his dinner, we were forced to shoot and kill the lion. That is some messed up stuff. How are you going to shoot and kill the lion for doing what the lion was always accustomed to doing? Now, as it turned out, the lion did not know that someone had purchased it. The lion did not know that its dinner was going to walk up to it and try to pet it. And when the lion did ultimately kill and eat its owner, you're now telling me that you shot the lion because the idiot who owned him got too close. It's not a pet. It's not like Benson and Riley. You can't take it for a walk. You can't just, roll around on the floor and rub its belly. It's going to eat you. It went lion on him. And who was surprised? Now, I'm actually surprised it didn't happen to Mike Tyson when he had that tiger. I actually thought that tiger was going to eat him.
He could have kicked that tiger's ass. He's the one who maybe would have stood the chance against the silverback gorilla.
No, he purchased a full-grown tiger. I thought his ass was going to get eaten too.
I don't know if that was real because that was in the movie.
It was a real. He owned a tiger personally, and I think they used a different tiger for The Hangover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he did when he was heavyweight champion. He did own a tiger. I don't know why. I don't know how. But yes, he was the baddest man on the planet. But he still could have gotten eaten. I don't know if you want to wrestle with a kangaroo or fight with a tiger or want to have a lion as a pet. But you deserve to die. I can't have sympathy for someone who purchases a lion and then gets killed and eaten by the lion. I think that's called justice. It was just up until they killed the lion for doing absolutely nothing wrong. How are you going to blame the lion because dinner walked up to it? Now, the pizza was put in front of me. What am I supposed to do? Not eat it? You put a man in front of a lion from the wild, okay? This is not a circus lion. We're talking about a full-grown, grown-ass lion, which has been eating elk and deer, whatever that's out there in the Serengeti or wherever it came from. And then you're going to kill the lion after the fact. That's just wrong. But as far as the dude, I'm glad his ass is done. That is poetic justice. It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Oh, as a matter of fact, we're still live on YouTube. As a matter of fact, we are still live on YouTube, and we want you right now to go to the YouTube at Mr. Mo Kelly. Make sure you like and subscribe. Why? As I said at the beginning of the show, we're giving away tickets on Tuesday to Harry Potter and the Cursed Child at the Hollywood Pantages Theater. That's on Tuesday, and there's probably going to be a tie-in to the video simulcast. So go to YouTube right now at Mr. Mo Kelly, sign up, like and subscribe. And when you like and subscribe, it makes it easier to find the channel because you're going to want to find it on Tuesday. Hint, hint, hint. Because it just might be, hint, 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 connected to the ticket giveaway of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And we're giving away 3 different pairs of tickets on Tuesday. And it just might be possibly, maybe, probably connected to the YouTube simulcast, specifically the YouTube simulcast. So you might want to go sign up now, like now, subscribe right now.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Now on Later with Mo Kelly, Mark talks about movies and TV, pontificates about pop culture. Rahner Report with Mark Rahner. Mark Rahner right now. Mark Rahner right now. Mark Rahner right now. Report with Mark Rahner.
KFI, YouTube, and Instagram. It's Later with Mo Kelly. Mark Rahner, take it away.
Final Destination Bloodlines is new in theaters. Let's start off with a little bit of the trailer.
So, which one of you is next?
You found some way to stop death and survive.
2 ways. Take a life. You get the time that person had left. Or you have to die.
Death is coming for our family.
Kelly!
Stephanie.
Grandma. Death is coming for us. Because we were never supposed to exist.
All of this fits together. We might have a chance.
No, you don't have a chance. Let me spoil it for you. Did you know there are 6 Final Destination movies? I didn't, because I cut my losses after the first one back in the year 2000. There are also 10 Final Destination novels and 2 comics. I haven't read those either. That first movie was about high school students who get kicked off a plane that later explodes. They've cheated Death. Death doesn't like getting ripped off like he's at a check stand in a Kroger store, so Death comes after them one by one and fairly gruesomely. If you've been following the headlines about our Federal Aviation Administration lately, that first movie might be a little bit much at the moment. And no, there's no way I'm going to run through the plots of the next 4 Final Destination movies because that would entail watching them. But there are some ground rules for the Final Destination deaths through all the movies, which you heard a bit of in the trailer. People die one by one in the order they would have if they hadn't cheated their deaths like student loan borrowers. You thought you could get out of this awful thing? Think again. And if you die and are resuscitated somehow, that can get you out of it. Or if you take someone else's life, you can have that person's lifespan. So aim for babies, I guess. Although that makes you a dirty, filthy murderer. Tony Todd plays the mortician who explains these rules to each new group of doomed young people. You heard him a little bit in the trailer. And we get a kind of origin for him in this 6th movie, Final Destination Bloodlines. Todd had cancer while filming essentially a cameo in this, and he died in November. In Bloodlines, a young woman played by Caitlin Santawana has nightmares about the collapse of a building that really looks like the Space Needle back in 1963, but isn't. Now, I'm not an engineer, but I'll just say the horrific collapse of this building and all the deaths are hilarious. And I hope the actual Space Needle isn't constructed like it's made of gingerbread and wet toilet paper. I still have friends there. Without spoiling much, I'll tell you that people saved from that, say it with me, cheated death.
Cheated death.
Cheated death. And
Cheated
since it was
death.
back in 1963 and the survivors had families, none of the descendants should exist. That's right. They're all death anchor babies and they got to go. So the girl with the nightmare premonitions has her hands full getting to the bottom. I can't believe it. The girl's got to figure all this out and try to keep herself and her irritating family from dying in a variety of gross out Rube Goldberg deaths. It's some over-the-top stuff, pretty sick, but it's all brief and intermittent. And I have a theory. The characters are all so irritating and unlikable that not only was I not the least bit bothered by any of these gory deaths, I was grateful that each of the characters would now shut the hell up. Congratulations, filmmakers. I felt nothing when your characters died. Now watch Dawn of the Dead from 1978. Every death hurts, even when you expect it. Learn from this. The only sad thing in Bloodlines is saying goodbye to Tony Todd, who looks rough. He had cancer. You might also remember him from Candyman, the good one, not the remake. One thing equal parts funny and irritating about Final Destination Bloodlines is the girl with the premonitions gets ultra paranoid and sees potential death in absolutely everything. A rake on the ground, everything, which is a possibility in the universe they set up, but also in this universe. I mean, I take the 405 every day, all right? I'm also the same age as my mom when she died really young, and I'm older than my father who died even younger. I got some junk DNA. I could go anytime, maybe during the show. This pizza could be my last meal. Also, do you remember the House MD show with Hugh Laurie? I wrote several scripts for a mobile game for that, for NBC Universal, and the game was never released. They abruptly shuttered the whole department. Before I touched the keyboard to start writing my first script, I can't tell you how many episodes of House I watched with all the medical mysteries, maybe 100. And eventually, every time I felt so much as a twinge or I had a cough or spotted anything that seemed remotely off, I started freaking out and thinking I was dying. You would too. So what I'm saying is I don't need these Final Destination movies because they're not escapist fun. And I say this as a big horror fan too. Now, I'm in the minority because this movie had an insane 93% positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes last time I checked. And it's expected to be the 800-pound gorilla at the box office this weekend too. Now, you can believe those hacks or you can believe me. I need to explain to you again that my fellow pro critics do not and have never been into horror films. They've never gotten them and generally look down their noses at them because they'd rather be watching something like Anora or Amelia Perez. You think John Carpenter got any respect from these typists when his movies were actually in theaters? So take that 93% with a big-ass grain of salt, which could get buried in your eyeball and cause you to stumble into a wood chipper. It's a bloody good time. Oh, blow it out your tailpipe. These filmmakers confuse drawing out something really obvious with tension, and that's all sandwiched between poorly written family drama to make you grateful for a wake-up death. Yes, I'm admitting I dozed off briefly. Bloodlines is a nice-looking movie, and if you're on a date where you're not so much paying attention between the elaborate, gross-out deaths, I guess you're sitting in the dark with somebody for a couple hours. It's a passable movie for people who don't care about movies and think they might be getting busy. But that's not your pull quote. Here's your pull quote, publicist. Final Destination Bloodlines? More like Final Deuce-tination. There's more, Mo, but I think you get the picture.
No rim shot for you for that one.
Negative on that?
No, Stefan wasn't even listening. I'm just letting you know. He wasn't listening.
No, he never does. He's completely checked out, and he might as well be sitting in a theater watching Final Destination. Have you ever read, Mo, a novel from 1934 called Appointment in Samara?
No, I have not.
It's by John O'Hara, a very well-known novel, and all the deaths in this got me to thinking about that because it was about the inescapability of our fates. And I'm just going to read you a brief thing from O'Hara quoting Somerset Maugham. There was a merchant in Baghdad who sent his servant to the market to buy provisions, and in a little while the servant came back, white and trembling, and said, "Master, just now, when I was in the marketplace, I was jostled by a woman in the crowd, and when I turned, I saw it was death that jostled me. She looked at me and made a threatening gesture. Now lend me your horse, and I will ride away from this city and avoid my fate. I will go to Samara, and there death will not find me." The merchant lent him his horse, and the servant mounted it, and he dug his spurs in its flanks, and as fast as the horse could gallop, he went. Then the merchant went down to the marketplace, and he saw me standing in the crowd, and he came to me and said, 'Why did you make a threatening gesture to my servant when you saw him this morning?' 'That was not a threatening gesture,' I said. 'It was only a start of surprise. I was astonished to see him in Baghdad, for I had an appointment with him tonight in Samara.'" Do you get it? Do you understand now how this dumb Final Destination movie could have been good?
It could have been, but that's never the point. They're not trying to write a good story. They're trying to create something which will appeal to the 20-somethings who want brainless entertainment.
It is totally brainless, except for the brains that get splattered on the screen.
Yeah, I could do without.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that they actually have some backstory. When did Tony Todd start becoming part of Final Destination? The second or third movie?
I think he was in it from the start, I believe, if anybody
I don't
wants to
remember him in the
correct me.
first movie.
I haven't seen it since it came out 25 years ago. My God, we're old.
I'll look it up on IMDb.
We cannot avoid our fate. We're close to death.
Well, we have more behind us than in front of us. The math is the math.
Yeah, nobody gets away.
Oh, that's cheerfully uplifting.
I like to end on a positive note.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And Mark, going back to your Rahner report last segment, you went to the movie after work last night?
I did. I found the latest possible showing.
I don't know how you do it. I know you're a night owl, but still, you know, you've already had a work day and then you go watch a movie and somehow you're not tired.
No, I didn't get much sleep last night because I don't know how much you know about me, but I'm also a voice actor. And so I had to go straight home and record some auditions for a commercial and then write notes to this. And I didn't get to sleep until daybreak.
For people wouldn't know, but when you come into the office, and like maybe in the 5 o'clock hour or so, you usually say good morning because you are literally waking up.
You know, I didn't choose this schedule. It chose me. I, in some ways, envy people who don't have a vampire schedule, and I realize I'm the freak.
I used to love the whole vampire schedule. I don't anymore. I just can't, for whatever reason, I just cannot stay up late into the night. Now, last night, I think I stayed up to maybe 1:30, but I usually stay up late for me on Thursday nights because I usually don't have to do anything Friday morning.
But you, like me, are still kind of wound up when you finish your air shift.
Absolutely. I just can't get off the air, get in the car, go home, and go to sleep.
So how do you wind down?
Usually watching something.
I thought you were going to say booze.
Well, no, that can be a part of it.
Okay.
No. I'm going to watch something on the DVR, a movie on streaming, and then I usually have some, Jack straight up.
Okay.
Neat. Sitting next to me. And I nurse that. And then as I get sleepier, I'll turn it off, whether I finish it or not, and go to bed. But yeah, I just can't. 2 o'clock, I'm doing too much for me to stay awake that long.
I don't like it. And in fact, you gave me some sleep gummies that I've tried several times.
Tart cherry.
I think I need to take a whole fistful of them.
I would not recommend that.
No?
But it usually makes you just a little sleepy. This is one thing I do, and I don't do it often. I don't recommend it for anyone else. If I'm having trouble, I'll take one Benadryl. Just one. Not with any alcohol or anything. Just one Benadryl. That antihistamine usually knocks me out inside of 30 minutes.
You got any go-to podcasts that put you to sleep?
No, I don't. You know what? It's interesting. Even though I work in this space, I don't listen to a lot of other people's work because podcasts are usually rambling and they don't get to the point.
Oh, I don't like those. I like the ones that are essentially scripted. And it's just kind of like the old, all the true crime shows that had the narrators with the soothing, deep voices. It's the most disturbing material possible, but the narrator puts you to sleep because it's very relaxing.
Yeah, I'll probably watch a documentary or something, but if I'm trying to go to sleep, I don't have any problems usually with that. It's rare that I have any issue getting to sleep. It's very rare. This is something I think I'm pretty blessed with. If I want to go to sleep, I'm going to sleep.
Well, the other benefit of those true crime podcasts is that if you're the husband, you're always going to be the first suspect. Always.
If I learned anything from that, it's that. Always.
So plan carefully. Have your alibi ready.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. And we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
More informing, more engaging. more stimulating. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.